All right, world, welcome once again to the Spin the Wheel podcast with me, the Edi Johnston Bit. How you doing? I hope you're all right. I hope everyone's doing okay. I've got my cuppa. Happy days. Realise that doesn't come across particularly well on the audio version. Anyway, we're back with the Spin the Wheel podcast, and it's me and a guest and some random questions on my spinny wheel. So we've got 24 questions. We give it a spin a few times and we see exactly where that's going to take us. It's a bit of a random interview and we find out something about somebody that we might not know about before. This week's guest is a lady called Anna Pumer. Pumer. Don't quite know how to pronounce it. Anyway, it doesn't really affect anything. She's still brilliant. She's ace. She's a really, really good chat. And we're going to have a really good natter about, well, we don't really know yet. We've got to spin the wheel first, haven't we? So, shall we get on with it? I think we probably best do. Are you ready? Okay, let's spin the wheel. So, joining me here on the Spin the Wheel podcast is the amazing Anna Pumer. Anna, how are you? Are you doing all right?
Hey, I'm good, thank you.
Fantastic.
How are you?
I'm very, very well. Very well
Excellent.
indeed. Now, Anna, those people who don't know you, you go by the term photographer. I'd like to try to... I was trying to think of any other way of describing you, but pretty much photographer, photo consultant, photography guru, all of those kind of things.
Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the way I see you anyway. If you check out Anna's website, you will notice that there's her character all over it. It's one of the wonderful things about her. If you look at her Insta, if you look at any of her social media posts, you will see these amazing bright colours, which pretty much sum up you as a person, wouldn't you say?
I like that. Thank you. Yeah, I'll take that. I mean, yeah, you can see my flat is quite colourful. I'm quite colourful.
I've never seen you wear like black or grey or what. Do they exist within your wardrobe?
Funnily enough, I used to have only black and grey in my wardrobe.
Really?
I had a boyfriend who I bought this jumper once. This jumper was grey and had these little French bulldogs on them. Teeny little French bulldogs. And he was like, I am not being seen out in public with you wearing that jumper. And so, so my wardrobe was pretty plain. And now I'm like, woo!
I think this might be a little bit more you.
A lot of the time around the house, I wear ninja outfits. I wear black leggings, black top, because it's like the comfy stuff. I don't know. Like I've got those sort of staples in the wardrobe. So I'm either a ninja or I'm like super colourful.
Well, I like the way of looking at that. It's not a case of I'm going emo, I'm really insular. I'm thinking, no, I'm just a ninja. That's it. Yeah. I think that's a much better alternative. You're based down in Brighton?
Near Brighton,
Brighton.
Just outside Brighton.
Just outside
I'm
Brighton.
in the countryside.
With you and your cats.
Yeah, one of them was walking along the table a little bit earlier. He might come back. He's hungry. So
so he'll be roaming around.
Cameo.
Yeah. But not just a cat person, dog person as well.
I've got 2 dogs. They're with my ex now. The one who didn't like the dog jumper.
Irony.
Yes, I have 2 Romanian rescues. They're hard work. Those 2, they are hard work, but they're gorgeous boys. I see them a couple of times a year.
So instead, I hear that occasionally you'll borrow other people's dogs in order to take them walking.
Just half an hour ago, I got home from walking the neighbour's dog.
Right. Is that just a thing, just randomly you wander around the estate and just say, anybody got a dog that needs to go for a bit of...
I've got little WhatsApp groups going where I'm like, oh, can I walk your dog today?
Amazing. I didn't even know this was a thing. Apparently it is. I'll borrow your dog.
Yeah. There's a website. Have you not seen it? Called borrowmydoggy.com.
No.
There's an actual thing you pay to borrow people's dogs and they pay to have you borrow their dog.
No way. Who came up with
Borrow
that
my
idea?
doggy. If you're not...
No.
It's been years.
Well, you see, I'm that removed from obviously dog culture.
It's the thing. If you want a dog, but you can't have a dog, but you want to walk a dog, you go to Borrow My Doggy. See, I should be sponsored. This podcast is sponsored by Borrow My Doggy.
Absolutely. I'll stick a link in there somewhere, I'm sure. But no, I didn't even... Well, firstly, A, that's an amazing thing. But B, the person who came up with it is an absolute genius. You pay me to advertise the fact that you want your dog walking. You pay me to go and walk your dog. I'm just going to sit here in the middle. I don't really like dogs. I mean...
I just like money.
Absolutely. That's a genius. I'm all about the genius ideas at the moment. I'm loving that.
Isn't it?
That's fantastic. Yeah. And speaking of genius ideas, are you ready to spin the wheel?
Oh God,
So
there we go.
We've got a bunch of questions on here, 24 questions. They haven't changed, they're always the same. So you might end up getting the same question as someone else, who knows? So we're going to spin it 5 or 6 times and then we'll see exactly where it takes us. Okay, starting off, nice and simple. Number 8, what's your favourite school subject?
Probably English, because at my school, they used to just like turn the lights down, roll in the telly, and like play Romeo and Juliet, like the Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh yeah,
so,
nice.
Probably English, I'd say.
So it was a DVD-led subject, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's my memory of it, anyway. Yeah.
Well, that's the one we'll go with then. You surprised me though. Not art, not design, not graphics, not those kind of things.
No. Art was fun. It was fine. I wasn't like great at it.
Yeah.
I'm a copier. I can't imagine something and draw it. I have to copy something. I can do it really, really well, but I cannot imagine it, which maybe is why I like photography, because I can just take a photo of whatever's there in front of me.
Oh, right. Oh, okay.
And that's the thing. Like my photos that I take aren't like super creative from the back of my mind where I was like, I've got this vision. Mine are just documentary of what's in front of me. So I never really saw myself as like an artist. There's the cat. For the podcast listeners, sorry, there is a cat walking in front of the camera.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I never really saw myself as an artist. I enjoyed all that stuff. And photography came to me later in life. So I was a journalist for 10 years before doing photography. So
I didn't know that about you. So you were a writer first and foremost.
Yeah, I was an editor. I did a bit of writing as well. I was a sub-editor on various magazines. I made my own magazine. I've got a copy of it right here.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a bit of a rude one. I was about 21 when I made that.
Wow, no, I didn't know that about you.
So I kind of don't see myself as a photographer. I'm just sort of, I do whatever I enjoy at the time.
But that's one of the great things about your photography is the fact that it does document an occasion. It documents something that's happening. So like you say, you don't need to have these amazing ideas, these creative ideas. It's just what's in front of me and what can you see? But that's why it kind of surprised me a little bit when you said that you weren't interested as much in the artistic side of things, because when you look at your photos, you can see the angles that you get and the different stories that you tell and the moments that you capture. You get the feeling of the day or the celebration that people are going through that moment. But I suppose, like you say, it's just capturing the moment rather than something else.
Something creative. I think the thing is, it's more that I'm actually a sociable person. I like people. I'm really nosy, like curious, nosy, all of that stuff. And it's more that I get to go to a wedding and listen in and take pictures of these things. And I like the funny photos because they tell a bit more of a story, a bit more of a cheeky story, And I think that's why I'm good at taking those photos, because I just am genuinely interested in what's going on in front of me with people. So I haven't done, product photography. I cannot do product photography.
Yeah.
All that stuff, boring. I just want to take pictures of people.
So essentially, lockdown has been an absolute nightmare for you then?
Yeah, it's not been great. Obviously, we haven't really had many weddings. Yours was one of the very few we did, which was very nice to do. So yeah, it's not been great. Because, weirdly, I realised this morning, most nights, I dream of being in a crowd. COVID exists in these dreams, but I'm not avoiding anyone.
Okay.
Almost every night.
So you're having dreams which have very strong COVID base to them. That's still the reality, and yet you're ignoring those protocols, or you're just surrounded by people.
I'm aware of it, but I'm like, I'm in a crowd of people and I'm just walking straight through that crowd, right through the middle of it, thinking, oh, well. So I do miss being in crowds of people.
Obviously so, yeah. I think we're going to take that moment, ponder on it for a little while, and at the same time, we'll move on by spinning the wheel one more time. Number 5. What music gets you going in the morning?
My workout playlist.
Your
definitely.
Workout playlist?
Yeah, it's not music I listen to normally.
Okay.
It's like heavy, rappy rock, like real gangstery type stuff.
No way. That's amazing. I mean, I'm massively into that stuff of music. It doesn't come across in any of my songs.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, you see, if you go back into my personal past, you'll find a lot of rap music, a lot of rock music, a lot of crossover between those two. So do you have any particular favourites? Any that stand out, or is it just a playlist that runs through and you don't have a clue who's on it?
Let's see. Right, we've got Boom by POD. I have no idea.
From the album Satellite, off of the late 90s. Also had, in fact, that track is also the theme tune for a very famous wrestler, and it was also the soundtrack from the Kevin James film Here Comes the Boom.
Oh my goodness!
There you go.
So that's a lot of trivia.
I know this stuff. You weren't expecting it, but I
don't know anything other than I like to work out to it. Fort Minor, Fall Out Boy.
This is the stuff you work out to. Yeah.
Yep.
Not your traditional general gym music. Then most people.
No, I like stuff that makes me feel like strong.
Okay.
Because I was doing CrossFit for a couple of years before, and obviously CrossFit's shut now.
Yeah.
And it's all like heavy weights and stuff, and really pushing yourself. We've got a few weights at home. We've got some 10 kilos, we've got some 5 kilos, we've got some kettlebells. And so it's kind of trying to replicate that at home a little bit. And the music, all these songs just came from different CrossFit classes I've been to.
Oh, wow.
I've heard it and gone, Google that song. That was a good one.
I mean, that's got to be the best way of putting it together, right? I worked out well to that song. I'm going to get it again.
Exactly. It makes you feel powerful. I find I don't do exercise unless something inspires me to. And then write music or putting on a workout video, I get inspired and I want to do it. Otherwise, I'm not going to do it.
Okay, so in which case, I'm going to go with some recommendations. Rage Against the Machine, first album.
Oh, yeah.
Who else? At the Drive-In. They're very good for getting you going. Quicksand as well. They're great. I've got their vinyl up there somewhere. We might have to chat more about this a little bit later on, but there's a great album from the soundtrack of a film. I think it was Judgment Night, where they took the very, very best of kind of like rock artists and they put them together with the very, very best rap artists. Yeah, I could talk about this for quite a while. Okay, so that's the stuff that gets you going. Nice. Let's move on. Let's see where the wheel takes us next. Okay, number 23 says, where have you been in the world that you would most want to go back to?
I really want to go back to India.
Oh, wow.
It's one of those places, like when you're there, there's nothing familiar about it. There is nothing where you feel like, oh, I feel like a little piece of home. Nothing. Like absolutely nothing about it is familiar. And so that's scary. When you're in that, that's scary.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Especially if you feel ill, there's nothing to make you feel better. But when you think back, when you're at home, you think back, you think, oh, how lovely that place. Like, it's funny when you're there. It's
not somewhere I've ever been to. Not somewhere I've ever. It's not somewhere I've ever even thought about heading off to, I suppose.
I didn't. No, it was like the last place I wanted to go. Like, I just heard it was like all poo in the streets and no toilets and stuff like that.
So how come you ended up there?
I just thought, because I was going to do a street photography trip with a friend, well, a bunch of friends, but me and my friend were planning it. And we were like, where would be really good? And I was like, do you know what? I kind of just want to go feet first into the most horrific idea ever and maybe India. You know, I kind of want to just go all in on something that I think would be terrifying and that I would never normally consider, but let's just do it.
Was this a particular moment in your life that you needed to try to run away from?
This was only a few years ago.
Oh, was it?
No. Well, we were doing these little street photography trips, about 8 of us, just to, you know, like Barcelona, Milan, all those sorts of places.
Yeah.
And then we were like, yeah, let's do a bigger one. Let's do something bigger. And India was go big or go home, basically. Yeah. Like, it doesn't get better than that for street photography. So we thought, you know, why not? Let's just do it.
So how long were you out there?
8 of us.
How long?
I was there for a month. I loved it.
That sounds phenomenal.
Night train and everything.
And whereabouts are those photos? Are they on your website somewhere?
They're on the blog and there's a video too as well. There's a behind the scenes video of all of us taking our photos and meeting people.
I'm going to have to check that one out, definitely.
Somehow that video has more views than anything I've ever put out there times a million.
Maybe you captured something particular there that people really, really liked or really responded to. I think it's because
it was a behind the scenes. It was a sort of reality. So it wasn't like beautiful landscapes. Yeah. It was the reality of the streets. You know, we didn't go to any touristy sites or any famous things. So it gives you an actual idea of what it would be like to go to India.
In which case, that's definitely the kind of thing that people will be looking at.
That's true, yeah.
Because if anybody's in that state, like you say, it's a very strange or bizarre.
It's just very foreign, isn't it? It's just so foreign, yeah.
Absolutely, very, very foreign compared to what they know. So maybe that is that case of needing to, I don't know, let's go to India. Let's have a quick look on YouTube and see what we can find. And that's that kind of thing that maybe people will relate to and would hopefully give them a much more realistic view than they might see on the TV or something, I suppose. And like we said before, the thing about your work is that it does capture the reality of a situation. Okay, so India, what was your favourite part of it?
Oh, the people were so nice. Like they had nothing. They didn't even have toilets in their houses, but they'd bring us in and they'd give us food. They'd give us tea. Wow. We'd all sit on their floor on little mats with these little tiny cups of tea. They were so nice. Like one person had this balcony up top. So they had this really, really tiny, narrow house. And up top was an open roof. And we were looking around. We were like, oh, wouldn't it be nice to get the view? And they invited us in and allowed us to go all the way through their house up to the roof and take pictures from the roof. And it was just things like that. The people were so nice. And the fact that everything's out and open. So you eat on the street, you drink your tea on the street. You know, there's one town we went to where they have little clay teapots. They make you your tea, you drink it and you smash the pot on the floor and the whole streets are just full of these smashed clay pots.
That sounds weird.
So there's all things like that. Yeah, it was
like you say, it sounds bizarre, but at the same time sounds a little bit wonderful.
Yeah, it's exactly that. India's magical. There's something, because it's got nothing at all in common with Western life. Yeah, it's magical.
Okay, number 14. Tell me about your favourite birthday.
Some of your questions are so random.
I know. Well, this is the thing. Some of them are deep and meaningful. You just haven't really hit many of them just yet.
I did have a great 30th. We went to Iceland.
Wow.
Yeah, that was cool. It was in January. So I have the worst birthday. It's in January. It's right after Christmas. It's freezing cold. As a kid, I just had McDonald's birthdays because there was nothing else to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also shared my birthday with a lot of other kids at school as well. So we had like joint parties. Yeah.
Joint parties are rubbish. First of all, people turn up to the joint parties and it's like, okay, have you got us equal presents? And the answer is always, well, it's one of two things. It's either no, because I like them better than I like you, or alternatively, yes, I've taken the amount of money I would spend on your present and I've split it into two. But
no, Iceland was amazing. I went for my 30th and we stayed in this like epic hotel. Like Iceland is not cheap. So I was like, right, if we're going to do my 30th, we're going to do it properly. We stayed in this lovely hotel and they have hot tubs outside your room.
Awesome.
They have these like special benches, like a wavy bench that you lie on. Yeah. And you have your blankets and stuff and you sit there at night. You lay there at night and you watch the what's it called? Northern Lights.
Oh, the Aurora Borealis.
Yeah. And they call you in your room if you want. They tell you the Aurora is showing. They come out and have a look. Yeah.
Just ring up room service. Can you just let me know when the big lights thing?
Literally, that's how they do it. We were only a couple hours or something, a long drive from this like massive glacier place where our hotel told us, when you go to the glacier, break off some of the ice and bring it back with you and we'll put it in your cocktail. Wow. And it is so cold that it's but the ice is so compact. It's like such a different kind of ice that it's so compact, it just doesn't melt. And we had it in our cocktails that night.
Wow.
It was cool. It was really, really cool there. Yeah, Iceland was epic.
And so you got to see all the Northern Lights and all the rest of that malarkey?
No.
Did you not? You missed the phone call? What?
It didn't show. So it's, they can't promise anything, obviously. And it didn't show. But it did actually show one night. But you couldn't see it in real life. It looked like a little fluffy cloud. That was it. It looked like nothing. But if you take a long exposure photo, all the colours come out in the photo. So that's the hot tip there.
That's the trick. No, don't want that one.
Oh, no.
This is the point where I get to fix it. Right, okay, let's go with this one. Number 13. Who's an important person in your life who is not a family member?
Oh, God. I never even thought of an answer for this. All I could think of...
Go on.
Someone I've never even met before. She's this Pilates instructor on YouTube and I watch her every day and she's the one who gets me doing exercise. She keeps me going. She gives me life. Like she's just so positive. She's basically, I see her every day. So
it's a great answer. Sometimes we get better relationships with people on screen than we might do in real life. The beauty of this whole scenario is the fact that we're seeing the world through our screens and through our phones and our laptops and all the rest of it, but it's enabled us to connect with people that we possibly might not have done so before. And
absolutely.
Sometimes they don't know you exist. Sometimes they could be on Zoom calls or gigs or all the rest of it. All that question says is who's important for you, and for you.
Exactly. She gets me working out. She gets me enjoying exercise. She keeps me fit. She keeps me like positive as well, because she's like, she bangs on about all sorts of like food and stuff the whole time. She's like, oh, ice cream, I love ice cream. Oh, I love this flavour and I love that flavour. Oh, now I really want ice cream.
Stop talking about ice cream. This is the problem. This is one of the reasons why I invested in a rowing machine, simply on the grounds of in lockdown number 1, I invested in flapjack and made a lot of it. Turns out I'm really quite good at making flapjack. It just meant that by the time lockdown 2 and 3 came around, I haven't made any.
Couldn't wear
flapjack.
clothes anymore.
Not allowed to make flapjack in this house. Too problematic. Who was the most famous or relatively famous person that you met as a child?
All I could think of in answer to that is that I met Jeremy Edwards when I was about 14. He was in Hollyoaks.
Right, come on, rewind. So, Hollyoaks is a programme that used to be on Channel 4.
Still is.
Is it still on?
Still going strong. I don't watch it. I absolutely don't watch it. It's still going strong. Yeah,
that's my mind awful. A little bit blown right now. Okay, and Jeremy Edwards, not a name I remember.
No, he was a major character in the early ones. He looks I saw him on Come Dine With Me a few weeks ago. He looks different.
Wow. Okay. How the mighty have fallen. When did you meet him? How did you meet him?
He was at a school fair we had.
Amazing.
When I was at high school. Like, I just remember I got a photo of myself sitting on the grass, and he's on this podium with what was her name? She was more famous than Jeremy Edwards, and now I can't remember her name. Blonde hair. I'll find the photo for you.
Yeah, definitely. You send it through to me. I'm just going to get a random message from you at a later stage saying, I know who it was. I think when I was about 9 years old, I met Emlyn Hughes, who was...
Who's that?
Well, he was the captain of the Liverpool football team and also one of the team captains on Question of Sport. Me, Question of Sport. You, Hollyoaks, yeah. Although it got better because when I was a journalist, before I was a photographer, I used to interview celebrities. Ah. Okay, so come on then, name drop. Who have you met in a professional capacity?
I interviewed Amy Winehouse.
Now that's a good one. Yeah.
She was not a nice person.
Was she not?
She wasn't. She was like looking elsewhere the whole time, not interested in talking to me at all.
Just a bit blasé then.
Yeah, just a bit rude. Like, she kept on interrupting me. And I forgot to press record on my recorder and I didn't take any notes. So I got home, I was like, no.
Shocker. I've got a few from like bumping into people at Glastonbury and stuff like that, but yeah, Amy Winehouse is right up there. That's a good shout.
You know what though? My uncle would have the best stories. Like he died recently, very sadly, but he was in a band and he was a producer with Paul McCartney. He met the Dalai Lama.
Was he one of those people who you'd come with a story and then he'd say, "Oh yeah, that reminds me of the time when," and just completely blow yours out of the water? I
didn't even know about half these things. Like, he was friends with Kate Bush. He basically made Kate Bush. Like,
wow,
how cool is that?
That's amazing. Right, are you ready? This last one. We're going to go with a big spin, see what happens. Oh no, I'm going to have to spin again. It's landed on one we've done already. Okay, number 16 says, this is the longest one, that's why I have to hold the wheel sideways. If you had an evening at home on your own with no calls, socials or chats to disturb you, what would be your go-to film or TV programme?
I would binge Pitch Perfect.
Wow. What? I mean, no, don't hide from it. That's perfectly acceptable. I mean, I say this perfectly sound in the knowledge that in that DVD rack there, I've got 1, 2 and 3.
Excellent. Yeah. Good taste.
Pitch Perfect's amazing. Why would you be worried about that?
It's not very cool though, is it?
Well, now, you say cool. I say cool is basically you just being comfortable, being exactly who you are and doing what you do.
That's true.
So
that's a very good point.
That in itself, we put that to one side. But if you think about the fact that you've got Anna Kendrick, Rebel Wilson,
awesome.
And you've got the commentators, even Pitch Perfect 3, despite its plot, I would still maintain is a really, really good film.
It's just got a bit of, they've all got a bit of everything. They've got the music, it's entertaining, it's funny. Do you have this thing where if you hear or even have in your head one of the songs from the mashups, you automatically go into the next song? Yeah. You can't continue the song. Absolutely. You have to go to the next song.
Or one of the songs will be playing and then you'll start singing the other vocal that they've put onto the first song. Yeah, I do that quite a lot. I'm perfectly up for the idea of taking an entire box set and just saying, I'm just going to watch them. For me, there's 2 or 3 kind of options. I'd probably start at the beginning of Parks and Recreation again.
Oh, no. You'd skip the first series. You've got to skip the first series.
No, you don't skip the first series because you've got to get through it because it lays the foundation. You've just got to give it time. And when you give it time, you will find Ron and then everything will be fine.
Yes.
So Parks and Rec or Community.
I'm with you.
Either one of those 2.
Yeah. Have you seen Modern Family?
I have not, no.
Oh, you're in for a treat. Oh, it's so good. It's just perfection. It's absolute perfection from the start. I've got
Modern Family to add to this. The other one that a lot of people recommend that I haven't even touched upon is Schitt's Creek, which
so good. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? I was so sad when it ended. I've watched Schitt's Creek twice over.
Have you?
In the last 6 months.
No way.
Twice over. I ended it and I was like, that's it. Well, I'm sure there were lots of nuances I missed, so I'm going back.
There's many films and TV shows that I haven't seen because obviously, there's only so many hours in the day. But I wrote a song about the fact that there's lots of things that I haven't seen. So I've never seen Breaking Bad. Yeah, I know. But that's the title of my song. And now my friends are turning to me and saying, you need to watch Stranger Things. I'm like,
yeah, that was good.
I've never seen it. But now because it's in my song, I can't go back and watch it.
You can't.
That's it.
Oh, what have you done to yourself?
I know. I mean, essentially, I've freed up a load of other time to watch a load of other things
but not as good things, clearly.
Possibly not. Who knows? But there's not enough hours in the day to watch all the things that there are on all our streaming.
I'd argue that there are. Right now.
Right now, maybe. Right, we've kind of got to the end of our spins, but a few things I think I'd like to mention before we finish off. Have you got anything to plug at the minute? Have you got any projects in the works that you're trying to put out there?
I do. It's a very specific one, though. I don't know if you know any other wedding photographers, but I'm creating a membership for wedding photographers.
Oh, wow. What does that what does that mean?
Basically to teach more the business side of wedding photography. So how to get how to book couples that you really, really love and who really love you. So you'll probably understand this. It's how I work. I am myself on my website and I attract people who like me, who like what I do and don't just want a wedding photographer, like any old wedding photographer. And so I basically teach other wedding photographers how to achieve that.
I can relate because Anna was my wedding photographer.
Indeed.
and we went through a process of trying to work out who we wanted. Aww. So we wanted someone to capture the day as we were having it. So when I look at your website, then you see the character and the day, like we were saying, you're capturing the moments that are there. That's something that we loved. And we got married in lockdown and we were worried about whether we were going to have a photographer or not because it wasn't going to be the same day and all the rest of it. But actually, when we look back at our photos, it's one of the best decisions we made was having you and Todd there and captured all the different little nuances and bits and pieces from our day.
Yeah, you can see wedding photos on annapumerphotography.com and stuff for photographers on kickassphotographers.com.
Nice. And we can follow your normal day-to-day bits and pieces on your Instagram.
That's right. Yeah. I do quite enjoy stories. I don't really do much in the feed, but I do enjoy stories because you can do sort of more behind the scenes, more ad hoc, random, as you think of it stuff.
Anna, it's been absolutely wonderful having the chat.
I've
really enjoyed
fun.
It. So it's probably best time to go and feed that cat, isn't it? Thanks for spinning the wheel.
Thanks so much for having me.
And that was the fantastic Anna Pumer. I still didn't ask her how to pronounce it, did I? Oh, well, never mind. We had a really good chat. I hope you really enjoyed it. All that stuff about her travels and whereabouts she's been. So much stuff I had to cut out as well that we could probably do another episode on. You never know, we might have her back sometime. If you like Anna and you like what she's doing, check out her stuff with her kick-ass photography stuff. And check her out on Insta and all the rest of that good stuff as well. If you like the podcast, then please click, like, subscribe, rate 5 stars, preferably. That would be nice. And more importantly, tell your friends. Let's get some more people listening. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Anyway, who's up next? Can't remember. Have to wait out for next Friday, eh? All right then. See you later.